She tried not to talk about this. And that was something I was not going to allow to happen.
Yeah.
Montgomery's history in 2008 came full swing again in 2013. And if you think that was the only fraud associated with Montgomery with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, it wasn't. Dennis Montgomery had represented to me, and I have video evidence of this too. Dennis Montgomery represented to me that he could produce software that would pick out the fictitious anomalies in Barack Obama's long-form birth certificate.
Right.
He said he could build that for me. So we commissioned him to do that. Montgomery was paid through donated funds to the tune of $10,000 to create this program. After months of going back and forth trying to get the program out of him, he finally sends it to me. Sends it to me over files of the internet. I download the program, and I download the birth certificate file that he brought with the program. I put it in per his instructions. I turn it on, and that computer software is lighting up like a Christmas tree. But it's finding a lot of things on it that I already knew existed because other people had found them open source. But I was dealing with Dennis Montgomery, and there's email correspondence submitted to court records in a federal court where I tell him, this doesn't have to work on your file, it has to work on mine. And what I did was I took that same program, only this time, instead of downloading into it the file he supplied, I downloaded the actual 2011 downloaded file from the White House website of that long-form birth certificate, ran the software, and the software could not detect a thing. Now you look at that and you're like, well, how could this be? Because Montgomery, I believe, manipulated the file he sent with mine. You go back into Montgomery's legal history. He manipulated computer files to try to fraud the federal government on a program called Find It, where he tried to allege he had software that you could fly from a drone and it would pick up objects and people and vehicles from altitude. But the 302s in the investigation conducted by the FBI, 2 employees claimed that Montgomery had instructed them to sit in a remote room while he was doing the demonstration, and upon a signal on their cell phone to press a button on the computer. They didn't realize what they were doing till later on, and they realized when they pressed the button, it would highlight on the monitor being viewed by government officials to give the impression the software had located an object like a bazooka or a AK-47 or a person. It was a scam. You go deeper into his litigation history and you find out that Montgomery was promised a big payday if that software functioned and the government bought it. So there was the motivation.